everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's had a good day, pretty good week. It's almost the weekend. Tomorrow's Friday, guys. But I'm gonna make a video, guys, tonight on some of the things that I do here at my shop. Tonight I'm gonna do a video, guys, on a big block Chevrolet and an LS Chevrolet. Some of the advantages and disadvantages of the big block and the LS, some of the advantage of the LS over the big block. So, and guys, I'm not kicking a big block because I had one before in my Nova some years back, and it did good. I had it in there almost 2 years, and it's been a burn, and they are good for that. Big blocks, guys, they make a lot of torque, and you can't turn them up like a small block. So a lot of times a big block, you know, it's hard to stay together if you turn it like high RPMs, like 7, 8, 10,000 RPMs. Some guys might argue the difference, but if they are, they're putting good stuff in them for them to stay together like that. And you can put good stuff in them for them to stay together like that, but still, they won't take a beating like a LS will. LS, you can turn them. I have turned the motor in my truck 7500 to 8,000, guys. So I know that LS will take that, and it's still living. So, but I'm gonna go over some things, guys, on the small block and the big block LS and big block Chevrolet tonight, guys, and show y'all some differences in them and how technology has changed over the years, and what GM has done for the LS, and they've come a long way since the big block. So let's get started, guys. Okay, guys, we'll start on the big block here, and then we got the little LS over here. So what we have is, and this motor's still got some of the stuff on it, guys, because I have to build it. I ain't yet started turning it down, but we'll get started. For instance, you see how wide that head is for a big block? And then you take this head here for LS, which is a whole lot smaller. So big blocks, guys, they make a lot of air, almost like a turbo does, and they make power. It's just that they're hard to stay together. Some guys still run big blocks. And then you got your exhaust ports over here, which are 2-inch primaries, 2.5-inch exhaust primaries on a big block, guys. And then, of course, these are Promax heads, which is a good set of heads for the money. I did a video on the 69 Camaro small block Promax heads. It is a good set of heads, guys, for the money. These heads here for small blocks around $1,000, and I'm not quite sure what they are for a big block, but for the money, they're a good set of heads. Okay, and then you got your exhaust ports here on the LS, guys. You see how small they are. But now them heads right there are 18 degree, and these heads here are 23 degree. And the reason I say the difference, guys, let me show y'all. You see the angle right here on these heads? That's what you call 18 degree. And then the angle on these heads are 23 degree. So this is a 23 degree big block Chevrolet, and this is the 18 degree LS. And I'm gonna take this intake, guys, off so I can show y'all what I'm talking about. So, look how these runners are standing straight up. And if you look down in there, that's your intake side right there. And then the exhaust is right here on this side. So they call these heads here, guys, cathedral port. because the temple right here on the top of the head is like a temple on a church. That's why they call them cathedral port heads. But you see how the fuel runs straight down in there on the valve, guys. And that's what makes these motors so bad and makes them run so fast. It's called the heads on. Where the heads on this motor right here is laid down more. I can't take this, I don't have this intake loose yet, so I can't really show y'all the intake runners. But on these heads here, the runners are round. They're a round circle for the intake runners on these heads here. So they're laid down more, which is 23 degree, and they don't let fuel get in as quick as the LS does. So that's one advantage on the LS over the big block, is one is 18 degree, one is 23 degree. The next thing, guys, are on the LS, these motors don't have distributors in them. And I explain that to you. Okay, if you see right here, here's a coil. And some of these is missing on these coil brackets, but the LS has its own individual coil for each cylinder on each side. And what it does is each individual coil has its own fire to its own spark plug. And it fires instant because the fire's right there running off of that coil by itself. So a LS has individual coils, and it has each cylinder has its own individual coil, so it can fire on its own coil. Now, on the big block, you have a distributor. And what this thing does is, when the motor rotates, the distributor turns around this way. And if you can see right here, it'll fire one time here, it'll fire one time here, it'll fire one time here, until it actually goes all the way around. And it keeps firing, guys, as it goes around like that. It's still firing. It fires on each one of them spark plugs and sends fire out to the spark plug. Well, time that thing makes all those revelations to make fire, it breaks the fire down from it traveling all the way through these long spark plug wires going to the spark plugs. So that's another advantage over the LS over the big block, is that the LS has its own individual coils, and the big block has a distributor with one external coil that's mounted to the motor that fires off of this cap. So that's another advantage, guys. And then on top of that, I mean, if you look at those motors, both of them side by side, don't the LS look like it would weigh a lot less than the big block would? Okay, it really does, guys. It weighs about 150 pounds, probably lighter than the LS does. So that's like 150 pounds lighter on the front end of your car from a big block to a LS. So that's another advantage as far as weight distribution. If you're trying to drag race and you're trying to get weight distribution, that's a big factor in weight, because that front end's got to come up and transfer weight to the rear tires, so it can help plant the tires. And the less weight you got on the front end, the better off you are. So that's an advantage. But yeah, guys, I'm not gonna make the video too long. I just want to go over a few things between a big block Chevrolet and a LS. How Chevrolet General Motors has changed things in the newer generations, but from the new to the old, or from the old to the new. And there again, guys, I'm not kicking the big blocks. There's a lot of guys that still run them. But me, I prefer LS because you can make a lot more power out of them, and they'll stay together a whole lot longer, and you can turn a whole lot more RPMs with them than you can a big block. And big block stuff is got, well, it's always been high, kind of expensive to build a big block, but it's probably come down a little bit now since LS is out so much and been out so long now that big block stuff is probably not as expensive as it was at one time. But there it is, guys. I just wanted to go over a few things on the two engines and show y'all some of the differences, how they've changed, how General Motors has changed some of the things over the years. So there y'all have it, guys. Okay, guys, there it is. I just wanted to show y'all some things on the big block, guys, and the LS. I won't hold the video long, but I did want to run that by y'all and start showing y'all some of the things that I do here at the shop. Start doing a little bit more filming on the things that I do here at the shop. I do a lot of things, guys, that I don't film that I should. And I can't always make it to the track to film. I would like to, but sometimes I can't. So sometimes y'all might want to see what all I got going on at the shop and how I do things. So I'm gonna start bringing y'all some content on what I do here at the shop and some of the jobs that I do and some engines that I gotta build and take y'all through some of the procedures on when I build an engine on a big block or LS. You know, it don't matter. I can still put them together. Ford engines, Chevrolet engines. But I'll keep y'all in the loop. But most of all, guys, I want to thank everybody that's been subscribing to the channel, been watching the channel. Keep watching, keep subscribing, guys. And hey, I'll see you on the next upload. Thanks.